think you can. I think that same pressure of people realize that you can't keep playing games. I mean, you know, you sit back and look, you got Crazy Eight led by Gates with every single Democrat voted to shut down one branch of government. Who would ever think that was the right thing to do at any time of the year? Look, I think from the perspective, we let Jim as the nominee, let him work through this. I always felt, because I had to make the decision to pick who to be Speaker Pro Tem. You know, it comes from the 9/11 Commission where they studied it. I always thought when I was nominating somebody to be that they'd have the power to keep the continuity of government running together. Their job is keep government running while you select a new speaker. And that could be moving at the same time that we're able to do.
Do you think?
Normally, you have an election in November. So I had from November all the way to January to work on winning speaker. Jim Jordan's had less than 48 hours here, okay? That's a great point. So it really stems from why are we at this point? Why would every single Democrat vote to shut down a part of government, a whole branch of government? That's what they decided. They voted against tabling it, so they thought it was worth coming up. They made a decision in politics. Every single Democrat did that. And then they went to the parlors to try to stymie who's ever the Speaker Pro Tem. They want chaos. They want government to shut down. They want to play politics. They're not looking at the people.
Republicans.
You guys do all these hypotheticals. You know, I had 2 months to go about doing it. Give him the opportunity to talk and listen and earn it.
But I think what Tom Cole said, it was righteous goal and a true thing that we need to deal with. And I think we need to start governing. So I was very impressed with his speech. I still think we need to go to conference to reconcile differences, but I did it as a thank for what Tom said, and I'm glad to see that Jim is supported doing some governing. I don't think we should be voting on the floor. I've been always for it, and I truly believe, you know, if you want to lead an organization, you know, you are accountable to your members. You have to work together and reconcile differences as members. And the speaker is not elected by the public for a reason, because you serve your membership. You need to develop relationship and resolve grievances without attacks and intimidation. Kevin McCarthy was vacated for that reason, because he forced people to the floor. I just don't think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Look, we need to get to work. So I think it is imperative that we pass the resolution empowering Patrick McHenry to serve as the temporary speaker. And, you know, hopefully we will be able to find consensus in short order on a speaker. I continue to believe that Kevin McCarthy is the right person to lead this House. He never should have been removed as Speaker. And frankly, you know, I reiterate, it's disingenuous of some of my Democratic colleagues to stand up there and say, you know, for democracy and for the institution, and we're putting people over politics. 208 Democrats teamed up with 8 Republicans to create this chaos. So they can act like they played no role here, but they did. And so it's unfortunate where we are, but we have to get back to work. I'm not going to put a number on it. The reality is everybody has a responsibility here to get the House back up and running so that we can focus on the work of the American people, starting with additional aid to Israel, to support them in this terrible time of need. And I think, you know, Democrats need to look in the mirror here. They helped create this mess, so they're going to have to help get out of it. And if a resolution is put on the floor to give Patrick the ability to serve as a temporary speaker, it would be the height of hypocrisy for them to vote against it.
Mr. President, Jim Jordan just lost the second ballot. Have you supported anyone else for Speaker?
Well, we're going to see a lot of good people, great Republicans, great people generally. They love our country. We'll see what happens. I'm tied up in this ridiculous court case, which is exactly what the Democrats wanted. If I were president, Israel would not have been attacked. It was viciously attacked. It would not have been attacked. Ukraine would not have been attacked. You take a look at what's going on throughout the world. The world right now is a mess. It's a mess, and it's a very sad day.
Will you visit Israel? Will you visit Israel, Mr. President?
I may go. I haven't thought of it, but I believe in letting them do what they have to do. They have to straighten it out. What's happened in Israel is all of those people dead would have never happened, ever. Not even a chance. Even the Democrats admit that if I were president. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, that $1.5 billion from Mar-a-Lago,
we got to get a speaker so we can open the House. So I want to get there. Look, I already proven I can get from the most conservative members of the conference to the more moderate members of the conference. So cross section of the conference. It's important that the last few we got that.
What do you make of these calls to introduce a resolution to empower McHenry to be the Speaker pro tem on a permanent basis? Would you support that?
I don't think that's the right way to go. I think we should get a Republican speaker. I got 90% of the Republicans in the Congress supporting me.
Would that help buy you more time?
No, I mean, I think we should get a Republican speaker. I've been very clear about that. And I think that's where the conference is. That's what our rules suggest. So let's get a Republican speaker and get about the people's business. I got to go meet a colleague.
What if it was on a drop out if this goes multiple?
We're not focused on that, but I gotta go meet a colleague. Sorry.
What is your plan this morning? What is your plan this How many try to get more support picked up?
Keep talking with some members, one member now and a few members later.
Do you think that you're going to pick up support on the second ballot
I hope
this
so.
morning?
I hope so. I think so. We've already had Mr. Bill LaRocca is coming back. We've already had one member who told us that he's going from, I forget who had voted for the first round, he's going to vote for us in the second round.
But to be clear, you're not dropping out. You're willing to have this go on for as long as it takes?
We're voting today at 11.
Do you think that you would have a third ballot, even if you start to siphon away votes on the second?
Oh, which one is it? Oh, down here. I'm sorry.
If you start to lose votes, you're going to go to a third ballot?
Thanks for stopping, Congressman.
Thank you.
No further nominations. The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Adams. Jeffries. Adderholt. Jordan. Aguilar. Jeffries. Alford. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy. Diaz-Balart. Scalise. Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Former Speaker of the House, the Honorable John Boehner.
Boehner.
The House will come to order. The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 5. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. Candace Miller of the state of Michigan has received 1. John Boehner of the state of Ohio has received 1. The Honorable Kay Granger of the state of Texas has received 1. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the Chair.
Kevin McCarthy, Capitol Hill reporter for the Associated Press. House Republicans stumbled a bit again today in their efforts to elect a House Speaker. Representative Jim Jordan was was the nominee for the second day in a row, and he actually lost ground. 22 of his Republican colleagues voted for somebody else to be Speaker rather than Jordan. The day before, he had received 20 votes.
You've got some members, one member now and a few members later.
The House will come to order. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by a surname, a speaker has not been elected.
So why don't House Republicans have a speaker? Well, they're quite fractured. Conservatives want to go in a new direction. They want a new leader to lead that direction, a combative, hard-charging lawmaker in Jim Jordan, while many of the lawmakers who have been here for a couple decades or who represent swing districts won by President Joe Biden would prefer a more establishment candidate. They don't want to see the conference move so far to the right.
This candidate does not and will not be able to get the Republican votes to become Speaker. So then now I think all of us have to get together and figure out what's the next step.
They don't like the way the process has worked out. They don't like how a small minority of the Republican conference was able to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. And they don't like that Steve Scalise was not allowed to get a floor vote or did not get a floor vote to succeed McCarthy. And they did not want to reward a small group of Republicans who had generated that outcome. At this stage of the race, it's unclear where House Republicans go, but one thing is clear. Jim Jordan says he's remaining in the race, and he's going to speak with his colleagues, meet with them privately, possibly have a public conference where all the House Republicans can get together and decide when to have a third vote. When they have that vote is unclear, though.
Some who, switch the other direction, but we'll see.
Even if they switch the other direction, do you still think you will have a path to the apple?
I think so. I do. We're still continuing to talk with colleagues. More importantly, listening to colleagues. So, and we're going to continue to do that. Obviously, we got to vote here.
How do you see this ending, Mr. Jordan?
Like I said before, I think it's going to end with hopefully a Republican speaker.